Right. Hi everyone. So finally, after a lot of requests, I thought just introducing you guys with my one of the I will not say my senior completely. She's my mentor, and she was a very good friend of mine during my graduation period. I would say that the quality she has is she's a all-rounder. मेरे ख्याल से मेरे ओपिनियन से she would have gone to some modeling or some kind of something, but luckily we have a very beautiful doctor with us, right? So yeah, hi Diksha, how are you?
I'm good. Hi.
Or how's life? How's everything going?
Life is good. Life is usual. Work, busy, happy.
Oh, thank you so much for taking out this time. So, right, can you just give a, some little bit of introduction of yours to the students who are going to watch us today?
Yeah, of course. Hi everyone. My name is DEEKSHA Borker. I am a fellow. So initially I did my med school with Dr. Surachna in Russia. Then I came to the US, did my master's in public health, followed by my residency in pediatrics.
Mhm.
And now I'm a fellow in pediatric emergency medicine in Manhattan, New York.
Wow. Oh my God. Now I'm a bit nervous. Right. Right.
I
So
have to
just tell
be.
me one thing, Diksha, was there, you remember any that moment of yours when you decided, okay, I want to be a doctor? Was
Yeah.
there any kind of a moment like that?
I think it's a very cliche story for most physicians, and is that they always have had a physician in their lives who's helped and guided them. Fortunately, my mother was a dentist and my uncle was an ophthalmologist growing up, but it
Mhm.
was actually my own pediatrician who till date works in a very small slum area in Bombay, and he serves people even now, and he's still my doctor even after I've grown up so much. So I think he was the main person who had who inspired me to be a doctor. And he's also not just a doctor for me, he was also my mentor or my guide even through medical school. When I was in medical school, even now, if I have any issues, I go to him. And he's not just like a medicine mentor for me, he's also a life mentor, where like, oh, I'm like having anger issues, how should I deal with anger issues? Oh, I'm having time management issues, how should I deal with those? So he still helps me with that, which is, I think, been very fortunate to have him in my life.
Mm-hmm. So, like, they inspired you to be in this profession,
Yes.
yeah? Right. So, as we know that, okay, we have graduated from the same university. So, how was your journey, being a medico abroad?
I think like all of us, right? All our audiences today, and you and me, we all had a dream of being a doctor. And then of course, like India was always been hard. I personally and my parents personally, we could not afford a paid seat at that time, right? This was in the 2000, mid 2000s. We could not afford a payment seat, and paying 60, 70 lakhs out of pocket at one time was it's a very hard decision for a middle class family with like two kids and both in the same studying age group. My brother was also 3 years older to me, and he was also planning for studies. So it was very hard for my parents to arrange that kind of money. And my parents were like, we know you want to be a doctor, but we are not capable of that much financial help. Of course, we will be able to take loans and stuff, but
Mhm.
that much amount of money, we don't have any collaterals to pay for mortgage and things like that.
Mhm.
So then it was my father actually who figured out this path to Russia. And he was like, there is this option if you want to try it. It involves you leaving home, and at the early age involves you leaving home and like trying to do things by yourself, learning a new language, learning new skills, approaching world culture in a different way.
Mhm.
It was hard decision, but I was like, okay, this is something which I am able to do. It's financially not burdensome, at least
Mhm.
not all at once,
Mhm.
and it can be done over a period of time. So that's when I was like, okay, let's try this.
Mhm.
And of course, going to Russia was so exciting. Oh, I'm going to study abroad. Initially when you are in your early, like 19 years old, you're like, oh, everything is so nice, I'm going to be like studying abroad. But,
Mhm.
when going to Russia, reality starts hitting you.
Yeah.
That it's not as easy as it seems in TV shows and movies. It's hardships, and more hardships, staying away from home, financial management, financial crunches, studying in a new language, new culture, new weather. So it was definitely an eye opener and a cultural shock when I started to, study in Russia.
Hmm. So, like, how did you feel when you actually entered into, St. Petersburg? Like, was there like, okay, homesickness tha, friends nahi the, everybody was around, like, strangers to us. So, like, how did you come, overcome with that phase? Ki, and, just continue with the path you just made a decision about.
Yeah. I think that's a very good question. It's very hard to, like, when you're like 5 years, 6 years, or even 10 years old, it's so easy to make friends. Oh, yeah, you live in the same building as me. Oh, you go to the same school as me. Let's be friends, right?
Hmm.
Oh, we come down to play at the same time. Let's be friends. But it's very hard to be friends or make new friends when you're in your early, late teens and early 20s, because you've already developed a personality of your own. So
Hmm.
there's like a lot of personality clashes. Oh, you like a person, you don't like a person.
Hmm.
And then, in Russia too, it's so different because there's only a limited set of people. There's, of course, the whole world is out there, but in your hostel, in your dormitory, there's only a limited set of people who you can be friends with. And then out of that too, you have to pick and choose who your personality matches with, who your frequency matches with. So it was hard. But then, as you know, we were grouped into classes. So of course, all my classmates were my friends. We
Hmm.
had daily clashes at that time too. Some of my classmates became better friends. We are still friends. We still meet.
Hmm.
Excuse me. We still meet. We still hang out. So it's hard, but it's important, right? You need to have a support system, whatever. Like, as children, our support system are our parents. When we grow up, our support system become our friends. Further down, our support system becomes our partners and significant others. So I think making friends, some of you, as you know, some of our seniors were really good. Some of them were like very different than our own personality. So picking and choosing who you want to hang out with, picking and choosing people who are like-minded, who for whom education is important, is like good. You know how as we growing up, our parents keep telling us, so sangat achhi rakho, sangat achhi rakho.
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
kind of think, हाँ ठीक है, मम्मी पापा बोल रहे हैं, it's fine, whatever. But you start realizing that when you start entering a professional field, when you're like, oh, okay, this is healthy competition and this is not so healthy competition. So
Yeah.
people, like, when you start learning, different personalities and how they help you and how they don't. So
Yeah, but then again, like you were so, tough with your decision and your passion of becoming a doctor that, okay, because during this time duration when I'm spending a lot of time with foreign medical graduates, there are some students who are like, not able to, get over with this homesickness and the environment they get. They want to, they just go back to your house. So it's really appreciating, really, I mean, just overcoming with all those negative thoughts and still, just moving ahead with that thought of yours, of becoming a doctor, right? So tell me one
honestly,
thing. Yeah.
good.
No, no, please, please go ahead.
So I won't say that I wasn't homesick.
Hmm.
After, I think it was after third year of medicine, I was like very, very homesick. And I came back home in January.
Hmm.
And again, my parents were like, no, beta, it's okay, do this, do that. But the one person who helped me at that time was again my doctor uncle.
Hmm.
My parents took me to him.
Hmm.
He told me, okay, if you don't, you can be home, you can choose another career. You want to do journalism, go ahead, do journalism, be with your parents. That way you won't feel homesick.
Hmm.
But 10 years down the line, if you look at your colleagues today and they are doctors and you're not,
Yeah.
how would you feel?
Yeah, that you
He
gave up.
told me that, and my immediate reaction was, I won't feel good. And
Yeah.
then he's like, that's your answer. Being sad about a situation today hampers your future goals. So if your mind is set on your future goal, everything that's happening now in your life is only going to be a phase. It will pass. It's not a permanent phase. You'll never be away from your parents forever. You will never have no friends forever. You'll never live in a cold environment forever. It's a phase. That's what he told me, and that's helped me overcome my homesickness to like a level of infinity.
Wow, I mean, that's really actually, kind of a reality check, actually. Right. So, tell me one
Yeah.
thing. During your graduation, I mean, undergraduation, जब आप कर रहे थे, so at that time itself, you decided that you will be pursuing further your career further in USA.
Yes. When I was in medical school, I think it was somewhere around fourth and fifth year, I was like, "Oh, okay, I want to advance my career. Of course, there's an always option of India and doing things in India.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, as you also know, there's so much caste system in India. There's so much, you know, um, men are given certain types of seats and women are not given, like, oh, all OBGYNs have to be women, all orthopedics have to be men. So
Mm-hmm.
that kind of gender bias was not something that I wanted to grow up in. And also, like, there was so many news, I think, that time, like, about patients hitting doctors and like beating them and like bringing swords and guns at them. So that's not the kind of medicine I wanted to practice. That was not where I wanted to be. And of course, my parents are very supportive of that decision. They're like, okay, you want to study further abroad? That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But again, there's always that financial thought in my head, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
coming up, like all of us coming from a middle class family, like how much money do we have? How much money are we planning to invest? And what are we going to do? So
Okay.
yeah, ideally when I thought, I was like, okay, I want to study in the US, but I want to study in the US with my own money.
Okay.
I will not ask my parents for money. That was my biggest goal. That was like first line goal, that even though I want to study abroad, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to do this without anybody's financial help because I cannot put that much burden on my parents.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, I'll just take a pause for a minute.